There is a nation in the heart of Southeast Asia where beauty and paradox live side by side. A country without a single coastline, yet blessed with endless mountains, emerald lakes, and roaring waterfalls. Its people carry gentle smiles, yet behind those smiles lie centuries of struggle, resilience, and unspoken truths. This is Laos, proudly known as the land of a million elephants. A land where strict cultural taboos still shape daily life, where love and marriage follow traditions outsiders can barely comprehend, and where scars of war remain hidden beneath the soil. But beyond the challenges, Laos also offers wonders that few travelers ever experience: sticky rice meals shared on mats, like family golden lanterns drifting into the night sky, and mystical stone jars that no one has ever explained. In today's video, we'll uncover 15 fascinating, mysterious, and even sinful facts about Laos, truths that will shock you, inspire you, and keep you watching until the very end. 1. Geography and national symbol. This country lies entirely on the Indo-Chinese peninsula, surrounded by mountains and rivers, yet it doesn't have a single inch of coastline. This landlocked position makes it both unique and disadvantaged. For international trade. It must rely on its neighbors. But nature has given it another treasure. Over 70 to 80% of its territory is covered by towering mountains, creating some of the most breathtaking landscapes in Southeast Asia. Not only that, this small nation also possesses thousands of islands and lakes deep inland, like emerald jewels scattered among the forests. The animal most closely tied to this country is the elephant, once roaming freely across the land, deeply connected to its spirituality, culture, and even its military history. The title, "The Land of a Million Elephants," has become a proud symbol etched into the nation's identity. And here's a fascinating comparison. If in the United States you can drive just 3 hours to reach the sea, in this country, you could live your entire life without ever seeing a real ocean wave. A paradox that makes this one of the rarest nations in the world. 2. Taboos and social etiquette. When you set foot in this country, there are things that may seem small but carry enormous cultural weight. Touching someone's head, especially a child's, is considered offensive, as locals believe the head is the most sacred part of the body. Pointing at a Buddha statue or handing objects with the left hand are also things to absolutely avoid, since the left hand is associated with impurity in folk beliefs. Monks in particular are shown near absolute respect. For women, even the slightest physical contact with a monk is taboo, as it could damage the honor of both sides. And in daily life, public displays of affection, such as hugging or kissing in public, are not socially accepted. For foreigners, violating these norms could result in trouble with the police, fines, or even deportation. That's why when traveling here, always remember that every small action is a reflection of your respect for the local culture. And it is exactly that sensitivity which will open the way to gentle smiles and the warmest welcome. 3. Women and marriage. As you stroll through ancient villages or riverside markets, you'll easily notice women with a gentle, graceful beauty. They wear long, traditional woven skirts, wrapped elegantly around the body, adorned with handcrafted patterns that carry the spirit of the mountains and forests. In love, they rarely show their feelings openly. Just a glance, a fleeting smile, or a simple white string tied around the wrist, a modest yet deeply meaningful ritual, is enough to say everything. For them, affection doesn't need to be displayed. It must be preserved like a sacred secret. However, if a foreigner wishes to marry a local woman, the journey is far from simple. One must reside in the country for several consecutive months, undergo background checks, and prove a clean record. The process can stretch on for a year or more, and even if every requirement is met, the authorities still reserve the right to refuse. For a nation with a small population, women are considered treasures to be protected. This makes love here both beautiful and fragile, like a wildflower blooming in silence, reserved only for those who truly cherish it. 4. History of resistance and scars of war. For centuries, this nation has been defined by its unyielding spirit of resistance against foreign invaders. From ancient dynasties facing powerful neighbors to the colonial era, and even through modern wars, the people here have repeatedly shown they would rather sacrifice their lives than surrender. But the cost of independence was devastating. In the 20th century, over 2 million tons of bombs were dropped on this land, making it one of the most heavily bombed countries in human history. Even worse, tens of millions of unexploded bombs still remain scattered across mountains and farmlands. To this day, those wounds have not healed. More than 20,000 people have been killed or injured by leftover bombs, many of them children. Kids whose lives were forever changed simply because they picked up a shiny piece of metal out of curiosity. In this small nation, every step can still carry hidden danger. That is why the memory of war is not confined to history books, but remains alive in every wrinkle, every tear shed by its people. 5. Unique pre-marriage custom. Before a man could take a wife, he once had to undergo a special journey living in a temple as a novice monk or participating in the village's coming-of-age rituals. During this period, he would leave his family behind, shave his head, simply restrain his desires, and listen to lessons on morality. Locals believed that only by passing this trial could a man prove his patience and virtue, becoming worthy of being a husband and a father. Today, this tradition has faded in the cities where modern life has swept away many old rituals. Yet in remote mountain villages, you can still see young men donning the saffron robe, quietly walking in temple courtyards, a living echo of a tradition that refuses to die out. It is more than just a ritual. It is a lesson in responsibility and maturity values every culture cherishes, though each expresses them in its own way. 6. National cuisine. Cuisine in this country is not just about food, it's about connection. A typical meal often begins with minced meat salad bursting with the aroma of lime leaves, toasted rice powder, and the fiery kick of fresh chilies. Alongside it is the ever-present sticky rice, soft and fragrant, considered the very soul of the nation's cuisine. And to complete the experience, a cup of Highland coffee, rich, earthy, and unforgettable. But perhaps the greatest pride is its local beer, a drink that has crossed borders and been praised across Asia as one of the finest brews in the region. Its taste is not too bitter, not too sweet, perfectly balanced, much like the people themselves, sincere, simple, yet irresistibly appealing. Most importantly, meals here are never meant for one person. Locals sit together on mats around a shared tray, offering each other bites, passing around cups of liquor and handfuls of sticky rice. For them, eating is not only to nourish the body, but also to nurture family bonds. And in that moment, even a visitor can feel the warmth of home. 7. Natural wonders. When speaking of this country, one cannot overlook its natural wonders that leave every visitor in awe. First are the majestic waterfalls stretching for kilometers, cascading down like giant white silk ribbons across the mountains, their roaring sound echoing like the heartbeat of the earth itself. Then there are the emerald mountain lakes, their crystal-clear surfaces reflecting clouds and forests all around. No matter the season, the waters remain vividly blue, giving travelers the sense of stepping into a timeless, tranquil world. For adventurers, this land is also a paradise for trekking. Narrow trails lead through ancient forests and gentle slopes, eventually guiding you to mountaintops, where you can watch a fiery sunrise break the horizon, or a glowing sunset paint the valleys in gold and crimson. These are the moments when you realize true beauty doesn't need to be sought in faraway places. It's right here in the roar of waterfalls, in the warmth of sunlight, and in the silence that brings peace to your heart. 8. Mysterious relics and structures. Across remote plateaus, you will find hundreds of giant stone jars scattered across the fields, massive blocks weighing tons, standing several meters tall, and dating back thousands of years. This site is known as the Plain of Jars. Yet to this day, no one knows for certain whether they were used to store wine, hold water, or serve as burial urns for ancient civilizations. Equally fascinating are the vast cave systems that once served as resistance bases during wartime. Inside there were hospitals, schools, and even theaters, a hidden underground city that sustained entire communities through years of bombing. What is strange is that despite decades of research by archaeologists and scientists, the true origins and purposes of these sites remain unsolved. It is exactly this uncertainty that makes them so alluring, leaving every visitor to wonder. Are we standing on the remnants of a lost civilization? Nightlife and street culture. When the sun sets, life here doesn't explode with noise and chaos like in Western cities. Instead, the evening unfolds in a gentle and cozy atmosphere. Night markets light up the streets with warm, golden lamps. Here you can taste all kinds of street food. For just a few dollars, sticky rice wrapped in banana leaves, smoky grilled meats, or a strong glass of iced coffee. Every stall is filled with laughter and chatter, inviting visitors to not only eat, but to blend into everyday local life. In riverside cafes, the sound of acoustic guitars mingles with traditional folk melodies, creating an ambiance that feels both rustic and romantic. Locals and travelers sit side by side with no barriers, just sharing stories and simple joys. What makes it most special is the sense of safety. You can wander the night streets without worry, welcomed by the friendliness and hospitality of the people. A peaceful night, yet one that touches the heart of every visitor. 10. Famous tourist destinations. Travel in this country often begins with the capital city, where riverside streets glow with lights blending ancient temples with the rhythm of modern life. A little farther lies a UNESCO World Heritage City, where time feels frozen in the sound of temple bells at dawn and the sight of wooden houses weathered by history. On the coffee highlands, visitors can do more than admire endless green plantations. They can handpick ripe red coffee cherries, dry them under the sun, and roast them on the spot, sipping a steaming cup while the mountain breeze flows by, a simple yet unforgettable experience. And then there are the small riverside towns, where you can ride wooden boats between towering limestone cliffs or trek through forests to reach windswept peaks. Every step here reveals a new landscape, making you feel as if you've stepped into a living painting painted by nature itself. 11. Mysterious places. Hidden deep within the mountains lies an emerald lake whose true depth scientists have never been able to measure. Locals believe a giant dragon sleeps beneath its waters, guarding the peace of the land. The surface is as calm as glass, yet once you swim farther out, the sudden change in pressure makes it nearly impossible to dive deeper, a mystery still without explanation. Equally fascinating are the underground river caves stretching for dozens of kilometers, most of which remain unexplored. Many expeditions have been forced to turn back due to the maze-like passages and overwhelming darkness. Occasionally, beams of sunlight pierce through cracks in the rock, creating turquoise shafts of light that make you feel as though you've stepped into a hidden ocean beneath the mountains. It is these strange natural phenomena that make this small nation one of the most mysterious places in Southeast Asia, a land where every journey is not just exploration, but a quest to touch questions that have yet to be answered. 12. Shocking cuisine. If food is usually associated with comfort and delight in this country, it sometimes becomes a test of courage for visitors. At street stalls and night markets, you'll often see trays of crispy fried insects, crickets, grasshoppers, even bee larvae. They're seasoned with salt, chili, and lime leaves, and when bitten into, they crackle with a nutty, savory flavor, an inexpensive source of natural protein that locals have eaten for generations. Even more surprising is animal blood soup, often made from buffalo or cow's blood mixed with ginger, turmeric, and local herbs. Its deep red color and strong taste may unsettle Western travelers, but for locals it is a nourishing dish tied to age-old traditions. For first-time visitors, the experience is a mix of hesitation and curiosity. Some grimace at the sight only to later admit, "It actually wasn't as bad as I thought." These moments turn local cuisine into an unforgettable memory, sometimes a cultural shock, but also a bridge to better understand the daily life of the people here. 13. Traditional festivals. Visiting this country during festival season, you'll feel the perfect blend of spiritual devotion and everyday joy. During the water festival, streets come alive with laughter as people splash water on one another to wash away bad luck and welcome the new year with blessings and cheer. Then comes the lantern floating ceremony, when thousands of glowing lanterns drift along the river, carrying hopes and prayers. The water transforms into a radiant galaxy of light, leaving anyone watching breathless in awe. Perhaps the most spectacular is the Rocket Festival, where giant bamboo rockets, beautifully decorated, are launched high into the sky with thunderous explosions, a symbolic plea to the heavens for rainfall and fertile harvests. The atmosphere of these festivals is both sacred and vibrant. They remind you that here spiritual faith and the joy of living always walk hand in hand, nourishing the community with both tradition and smiles. 14. Cost of living. If you think living in a peaceful country requires a lot of money, the numbers here will surely surprise you. A small, cozy apartment right in the city center costs only $150 to $450 per month, enough for a single person or a young couple. Food is incredibly cheap. A street food meal costs just $1 to $2, while dining at a local restaurant rarely exceeds $5. If you prefer cooking, fresh groceries from traditional markets will cost around $120 per month, both affordable and healthy. Getting around is also budget-friendly. A tuk-tuk ride within the city is just $4.50 to $1, while a more comfortable taxi ride is only $2–3. As for high-speed internet for work and entertainment, it's about $15 to $20 per month. Altogether, with just $450 to $700 per month, you can live comfortably without worrying about necessities and still have enough left to travel and explore. It's a fraction of what you'd spend in the US or Europe, where rent alone can easily be 4 to 5 times higher. 15. Travel tips and safety. When preparing to visit this country, there are some important things you must keep in mind. First is the weather during the rainy season. Sudden floods can submerge entire plains, while in the dry season, the scorching sun can leave you exhausted after just a short walk. In the mountains, phone signals are weak or completely absent. While this can feel like an exciting digital detox, it also carries risks if you need urgent communication. Always bring a power bank, a flashlight, and let loved ones know your travel plans in advance. Healthcare services in many areas are still limited, so travel insurance is an absolute necessity. It will give you peace of mind in case of unexpected health issues. At the same time, always respect local customs, ask before taking photos, avoid giving money to children, and maintain polite behavior in all situations. Finally, when joining activities such as boat rides or mountain trekking, always double-check safety equipment. Sometimes a single life jacket or a sturdy rope can be what saves you during your adventure. A small nation, yet one that holds beauty, mystery, and unimaginable challenges. From majestic mountains and roaring waterfalls to unique customs found nowhere else. From cuisine that can surprise or even shock you to the scars of war that have never fully healed. All of these weave together to create a portrait, both enchanting and heartbreaking, for anyone who sets foot here. And that is why travel is not just about taking photos. It is a journey to hear the stories of a land, to understand the gentle smiles behind great loss, and to find empathy with the people who live here. So among these 15 truths you've just discovered, which one impressed you the most? Comment the number below to share your thoughts. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the journeys ahead, because the world is still full of secrets waiting to be uncovered.